Hey everyone, welcome back to Ideas Unpacked. Today we're unraveling something a bit mystical, alchemy. Not the old turning lead into gold kind though. I'm talking about Rory Sutherland's fascinating take in his book, Alchemy, the dark art and curious science of creating magic in brands, business, and life.
That's right, James. I think this book is gold in its own right. Sutherland, who let's not forget, is vice chairman at Ogilvy, draws on decades in advertising to argue that logic isn't always the best problem solver. Sometimes you need, well, a bit of alchemy.
Exactly. Sutherland says that sometimes the most effective solutions are irrational, or at least they look irrational if you're just looking for logical explanations.
The heart of his argument is that we often over-rely on reason and data. We trust the rational approach, collect numbers, optimize, make everything more efficient. But real breakthroughs, they're often the result of illogical creative thinking, intuition, experimentation, gut feeling.
Right. He gives some great examples of this. My favorite is maybe how small airline perks, like complimentary snacks, can make people happier than cutting journey times by a few minutes. Logic says, get there faster. But emotion says, make me feel good along the way.
Oh yes, and it's all about perception. Sutherland argues that our experiences are shaped by psychology. He calls this the psychologic of consumers. Their emotional reactions matter as much, if not more, than the technical features of a product or service.
He really challenges that bias toward rational thinking, which, to be fair, is especially strong in business. Sutherland calls out the tyranny of reason, where only things that can be justified logically are allowed, even though history and biology tell us people don't always act logically.
I love how Sutherland says, the opposite of a good idea can also be a good idea. Basically, what works in one context might flop in another, and vice versa. There isn't always a universal right answer in business or life.
That's a perfect segue into his advocacy for experimentation. In Alchemy, he really encourages leaders to test weird, counterintuitive ideas. Why? Because in a complex world, big opportunities often hide where reason says don't bother.
That's so true. Remember his example of potato chips? Years ago, some flavor combinations made no sense on paper, but became hits because people's tastes and preferences don't always follow logic. You have to experiment.
Sutherland actually borrows from evolutionary psychology. Our brains evolved for survival, not for perfect logic. Things that should work don't always resonate emotionally. Creative solutions can hack those instincts in delightful ways.
It's all very scientific, really, and very playful at the same time. He's not saying to throw out logic completely, but to value creativity just as much. Sometimes, nonsense is the fastest route to success.
I think the chapter on signaling is super important. For example, luxury brands don't sell watches that tell time better than a $20 watch. What they offer is status, story, and emotion. That's pure alchemy.
Exactly. And placebo effects matter too. Pay more for wine and you might truly enjoy it more. Sutherland calls for businesses to take psychology and imagination seriously when designing products and experiences.
So, to sum up, alchemy isn't just a guide to advertising tricks, it's about seeing the world differently. It's permission to play, experiment, and embrace the unpredictable, even if it makes the spreadsheets nervous.
Couldn't have said it better myself. For listeners who want to shake up their perspective, Alchemy is a must-read. Rory Sutherland gives us a toolkit for weaving a little bit of magic into the everyday.
That's all the time we have today, folks. Keep questioning, keep experimenting.
And keep searching for that gold, even if it means following your hunches instead of a map. Thanks for joining us on Ideas Unpacked. See you next time.